Welcome to the podcast Living by Oak Values. My name is Robert and I host this podcast with my friend Gary. Join us today as we dive deep and share meaningful stories and discuss the values that help shape our lives. We are devoted to living by these values and sharing them with you. Whether you're a long-time listener or just now discovering us, welcome. Check us out at northmancoaching.com. Connect with us and get your free toolbox along with exciting updates. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Happy listening.
And today's value is humility. Humility is the absence of any feelings of being better than someone else. Humility is a crucial value to embrace after going through a divorce because it allows for personal growth, healing, and better relationships moving forward.
In our discussion today, we're going to dive deep into the depths of humility. What it is, why it matters, how it shapes our lives. But we are also exploring a little bit of the opposite. Arrogance, pride, the inability to acknowledge limitations. Most people call it narcissism. Just remember, humility is a practice. It's not a destination. Embrace it daily for a more meaningful and connected life. Hey, Gary.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you know who C.S. Lewis is?
Is he an author?
Yeah, the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, Narnia
Yeah.
series.
Yep. Yes.
Yeah. One of his quotes is, humility isn't about thinking less of yourself. It's about thinking of yourself less.
Oh, all right. So for the listeners, I guess, so you're trying to say, so don't think less of yourself. So don't put yourself down, but think about yourself less. So think of others more.
That's kind of weird though, isn't it?
No, it's not weird. So I'm not going to think more about what I'm doing, but I'm not going to think less of myself. So I know the man I am. I know who I want to be. I know who I am. I know what I'm doing. But I am going to think about what you're doing right now. So instead of all about me,
Yeah.
I know who I am. And I'm not going to put myself down or think less of myself. But I wonder what you're doing.
Well, stop wondering what I'm doing and
All
let's get back to the show.
right, let's go. What do we got?
Uh, Humility is the willingness to admit that you don't have all the answers. And I'm pretty sure I've been doing that lately. I used to be one that I was the person that had all the answers.
So you were a
Yeah.
narcissist?
I was a narcissist. Yeah. I
Wow.
was.
Okay.
Yes, I was. It humbled me very much to learn that I didn't really have all the answers. And I had to stop and listen and recognize that every person had something valuable to teach me. Even though they say dumb things, sometimes sometimes, brother, it is the value of keeping your mouth shut. Just so they think that you're listening to them.
I'm still working on that value of keeping my mouth shut.
Oh, and contrast it, I used to have arrogance, and I always shut down collaboration, growth, and connections. And if they don't take anything out, humility needs to be practiced daily for a more meaningful, connected life.
So when you were saying that you would shut down collaboration, growth, and connection, does that mean you would just do everything on your own?
Yes, I was that guy. I can't find the right person to do it, or you won't do it right. My dad, and I got it from my dad. I know because my dad was like that too. But yeah, I was very arrogant.
So is that arrogance? Because I'm
Mm,
going to tell you right now, there's things at work that I do for my day job where I don't want you to do it. I'll do it. It's just easier for me to do it than for me to explain it to you and
yes,
hope that you get it right.
but you're not allowing them to fail and learn on their own.
True.
Yeah,
Okay, I got it.
yeah.
So humility is a virtue rooted in self-awareness, respect for others, and a balanced perspective on one's abilities and limitations. The difference between humility and narcissism lies in how individuals perceive themselves, relate to others, and respond to challenges or feedbacks.
Did you know the difference between humility and narcissism?
Before today,
before the divorce. Because normally divorce puts you in a spot where you have to be humble
Yes.
and you have to shed a lot of narcissism thoughts in order to get through it.
So what was the question? Did I know the difference
Yeah,
before No,
because
I did not.
yeah, I was about to say because I was very narcissistic before I got divorced.
I feel like people throw that word around all the time, and it doesn't always apply.
Yeah, I used to call my mom and dad that all the time. Oh, you're narcissistic, blah 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 blah, and it was because I was. So
Hmm. Okay.
yeah.
But yeah, before divorce, I had no idea. Since I've
Mm,
been coaching and doing this work, I have. Yes, I
yeah.
know the difference. But so the breakdown for the difference between humility and narcissism is as follows. Self-awareness, humility involves having a realistic view of yourself.
An openness to learning, willingness to admit mistakes, and eager to learn from others.
It's confidence without pride. It's about being confident without needing to boast or to seek validation. And on
It's
that note,
huh?
I want to say that I used to, even after my divorce, but before, this point in my life where I felt like I needed that validation, or I
Mm,
would boast about, hey, look what I did.
yeah, yeah. It's also empathy and respect for others, involving treating everyone as equals and appreciating their worth.
It's also service oriented mindset, contributing to the greater good without expecting recognition or rewards.
Ooh, that one punch home for me because I always
Mm.
did, always expected like an attaboy. I was
Oh, yeah.
always an attaboy
Yep.
person.
Same here.
Yeah, and it's also accepting of vulnerability, acknowledging that you're not perfect and it's okay with your imperfections.
Remember, humility is a practice, not a destination. Embrace it daily for a more meaningful and connected life. Getting divorced was a very humbling experience for me because I don't know why, dude. I don't know what I'm saying now. I'm lost right now. I'm gonna
Well,
take a lot of this shit out.
it's okay. I'll leave it in because to me, it getting divorced was shameful and went against what I believed. And so it was a humbling experience to be kicked to the curb and also being sent to the bottom of the ladder almost. Everything I worked for to get married, to have this life, I was just kicked to the curb and sent to the bottom again. And it was a very humbling experience to say, I didn't know what I was doing. I have to start over and work myself back up this ladder again. And Dennis Collin put it to me the best. He says, when you put together a model or a puzzle, and you don't have the directions, do you just throw the model away or do you take it apart and put it back together with the directions? That's when I kind of realized that I'm not necessarily a failure, but it was a humbling experience to have to relearn some of the stuff that I missed when I was should have learned when I was growing up.
So for me, it was humbling because friends of mine were getting divorced. Uh, my brother was going through some issues with his partner, and I kind of looked down on those people for a moment. Like, wow, how do you let that happen? Like, I was under the impression that my marriage was going well.
Mm.
And so when people would tell me, oh, I'm getting divorced, like, oh, I feel sorry for them, but I'd also be like, how do you let that happen? And next
Mm.
thing I know, boom, there it is, delivered to me on a plate. I'm like, I am no better than anybody else.
Yeah.
And I realize that. And now I think about that every time I even have an inkling of thinking less of somebody. I'm like, if I say something out loud or follow through with this thought, like the universe might just give me the same thing.
Mm.
So I try to be, I guess, curious instead of judgmental, or I try to stay humble. I try to be curious on what's going on with people, how these things could have happened, and see if I can offer any assistance in any way without judging.
One book that I love to read is called The Four Agreements by Don
Don
Miguel.
Miguel Ruiz.
Thank you.
Welcome.
And I read that book, and in one of the stories he talks about is that looking at people as if they're just a little girl or just a little kid. And so now, instead of judging them as quick as I used to, I kind of take myself, I step back and I say, they're just a little kid trying to create a world for themselves. And they may be in my world, but I have to let them create the world they want to create. And it is humbling to just watch people try to create the world, which I was a part. I mean, I used to do the same thing. I used to go and create the world as like I know what I'm doing, but now I just enjoy the watching other people create worlds as well. Yeah. So Gary,
Yeah.
we all have read books or seen movies and taught as kids how the underdog is the guy who's humble in the beginning. What does it take really to be humble in life so that you can end up being the hero in the end?
Well, I think it takes keeping your head down, not judging people.
Hmm.
And why do you need to be the hero at the end? I mean, if you can be your own hero, that's really humble, is it not?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying. It's kind of like
Okay.
not necessarily the hero that saves the girl, but the protagonist at the end
Okay.
who ends
So
up being the yeah.
if you can be your own hero, that's better. So, but humility isn't about undervaluing yourself. It's about balancing confidence with self awareness and respect for others. And here is how you cultivate that. Number one, listen actively. Focus on understanding others without immediately forming a response. And this is number one because so often, even to this day, I still try to control myself. But people will tell me things, and all I have to hear is the first few words, and I'm talking because I already know what they're going to say and I know how to answer it. But I've caught myself lately that I don't know what they're going to say. And I'm on the wrong page or the wrong chapter, wrong book. They said a few words, and I followed up with not what they were talking about. So I've learned to shut my mouth pretty much, listen, and then come up with a response.
That's more like the nice guy fix it mode. I
Yeah.
used to do that
Yep.
a lot. Yeah. So another way is to acknowledge limitations, admit when you don't know something, and be open to learning it.
I got to go with it for that too.
Ah.
So with the woman that I'm dating right now, she is incredible. She does a she she does it all. Like she can build a house and she
Mm,
can make a cake and make dinner and mow the lawn and do laundry. Like
hmm
there's no like gender roles, I guess, if that
hmm
makes sense. In the beginning, that was very difficult for me
hmm
because I'm the man. So I should be building shit or stuff. She could cook and clean and all that, but I also used to be a chef, so I can cook also. And the more we spend time together, I realized that if I voice my limitations, then I can allow her to do what she's good at. So, like this weekend, she was here with me and she put some shelves up in my house while I made dinner. So it was almost like the old me would have been like, wow, those are reverse roles. Why are you making dinner while she's putting shelves up? You know, she's like screwing holes and drilling holes in the wall, and it looked really good actually. But
mm
yeah, so I am not good with building stuff. So it took me to understand my limitations and know what hers are and know that she's better at this. So let her do it. The next step is celebrate others. Genuinely support and uplift others' successes.
So I know I joke with you all the time, but I read a book about this. It's like, and my daughter is one that I have to support, and I'm very proud of her, and I'm very proud of you too, brother, because I know that
Thanks.
you've went through a lot. But I read a book, and I I actually can't remember the name of the book. It said, don't just go around going, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you, because then that person doesn't know what you're proud of them for. But if you can
Mm.
label what you're proud of them for, like, I'm proud of you, Gary, for learning AI and more computer stuff and taking on roles that would have freaked you out. Adding the action really is a genuinely supporting their success.
On that same note with supporting others, like when we have a client or if we're talking to somebody, they reach that moment
Mm.
where they feel empowered or the breakthrough. Like finally they understand what the next step is all on their own. I definitely praise them for that. That
Mm.
is a huge thing.
Another thing is to seek feedback. Accept constructive criticism as an opportunity for growth. And I know I do that a lot with you. Sometimes I freak out because my weight goes up and I'm calling you on the phone going, help. I need some kind of idea or opportunity to grow or learn how to change my meal plan so that I can. Am I doing something right? Am I doing something wrong?
Oh, on that note of your weight, has nothing to do with your weight right now, but I I went shopping yesterday and I found an awesome bag of potato chips. I've never heard of the company before. I actually forgot the company, but it was like Voodoo, New
Mm.
Orleans Voodoo brand or flavored. And man, these things were good. They were like smoky, salty, vinegary. It was, never mind. I'll leave it alone. But yeah, just let you know in case you want to eat something yummy.
Wasn't it? Wasn't it you who sit there and took a picture of a bag of potato chips? It was like Cuban sandwich flavored or something. Lay's.
It might have been. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't
Yeah.
ever eat at those. So,
All right. Well, talking about food,
no, we're not.
we also have to serve others. So I'm going to serve you some potato chips. No, I'm just kidding. No, we need to serve others. So acts of kindness. You have to show acts of kindness to remind you of shared humanity. You know, if you see something that you need that you can do, then do it.
Hmm. And reflect daily. Identify moments to grow in humility and learn from others. I have like a 20-minute drive home from work, and I drive pretty slow because I'm driving older vehicle. And I just enjoy the drive, and it helps me slow down and just, what did I do today that I can do better tomorrow? Over talk to somebody, interrupt them, or etc. How can I learn from today for a better tomorrow?
Do you figure that one out?
Sometimes it's easy, yeah. Sometimes I sit there and go, dag helmet, I should not have talked while that person was talking, or I shouldn't have interrupted him, or I shouldn't try to fix the situation. Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes I realize where I overstepped and went back into a like a nice guy mode. And so, yeah, I
Okay.
do.
And the last step we have for this is pair confidence with gratitude and appreciate those who've helped you succeed, such as for us, our coaches, our mentors, our friends, and our kids.
Yeah.
I credit a lot of what I have done, and it's what I have done, but I credit you,
Mm.
Charlie, and Dennis, and Jeff. Um, I mean, I did this work. I made myself the man that I am today, but without the guidance from you and those other guys, I
Mm.
wouldn't have been able to do that.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely. It took many, 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 many men's groups, talking
Hmm.
to men, talking to coaches, talking to mentors and friends. And actually, a lot of those mentors and coaches became good friends.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
yeah.
and that's what I want to do now. Now that I'm where I'm at, I want to be that guy that helps others. And remember, guys, humility is a practice, not a destination. Embrace it daily for a more meaningful and connected life.
All right, all right, all right. Humility, my friend, is that beautiful space where you recognize your worth without needing to shout it from the rooftops. It's about understanding that while you've got your talents and strengths, you're also just a part of this big old world. It's appreciating others, listening more than you talk, and knowing that every person you meet has a story worth hearing. It's that quiet confidence that says, I'm good, but I'm not better than you. So embrace it. Let it flow through you and keep that heart open. That's humility, baby.
By practicing humility, you are not just navigating the challenges of divorce. You are setting the stage for a stronger, wiser, and more grounded version of yourself. This value can turn one of life's most painful chapters into a transformative opportunity. And I am telling you this from experience. My divorce was the darkest hole I think I've ever been in. And my life right now is more amazing than I ever thought it could be. So, and it's because I practice humility.
And remember, guys, humility is a practice, not a destination. Embrace it daily for a more meaningful and connected life.
Join us via our Facebook group or our men's meetings as we explore the balance between self-confidence and self-awareness and how embracing humility can transform the way we lead, connect, and grow. It's time to redefine strength, not as dominance, but as a quiet confidence that comes from knowing who you are and the value of others around you.
If you would like to go further or deeper on this topic of humility, reach out to us. We want to hear you and know your powerful story. And folks, that's a wrap on today's episode. And of course, thank you all out there for listening. We're so glad you could join us today. If you enjoyed today's episode, please don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, Living by Oak Values. Chat or connect with us by booking your free session on our website, northmancoaching.com. For more updates and exclusive content, join our Facebook group, Northman Legacy Crew. Follow us on YouTube or TikTok or visit our website. We'll be back next week with another exciting episode that you don't want to miss. Until then, keep discussing your values, embracing the journey. Take care and stay authentic.